The Super Nintendo Classic stands to prove two things. One, that Nintendo will never abandon the system that birthed some of the greatest games of all time. And two, that nerds like me are always going to shell out some extra cash to rebuy games that I already own. It comes in a cute little box that has both class and nostalgia written all over it. Look at that poster. It's like I'm in the 90s all over again. The controllers look great and feel amazing, but just like its little brother, the wires are too short. But don't fret, if you've got $10, reliable transportation, and 20 minutes to spare, you can always visit your local Wally World and purchase an extension cable. The console itself is a lot smaller than I had previously imagined. My iPhone is bigger than this little guy. The push up, power on, and reset buttons work just like the old school models, which is a neat little touch. The cartridge slot and the Fox controller ports are just for show, but pulling the tab out from underneath will unveil the actual controller ports. Pretty nifty if you ask me. But looks, nostalgia, and portability will only get you so far. It's what's inside that really counts. This time we get 21 pre-installed games. Yes, 21. That means that some thoughtful consideration had to be given as to which games were going to make the final cut. And even though we're missing just a few overlooked masterpieces, the game lineup is certainly no slouch. Just boot up the system and make your selection. It is that easy. If you've been here since the beginning, then you'll know I've already covered most of these games. And you'll be glad to hear that Nintendo, and their respective third-party developers, did not tinker with any of these games. These are the same titles we've all played and loved, warts and all. One title that I only mentioned but never actually played or even thought I would get to play is Star Fox 2, the game that was cancelled then reworked into Star Fox 64. It's kind of surreal that this game actually exists, outside of repro carts or emulation. But all that aside, it's actually a damn good game. It's graphically impressive by Super Nintendo standards, and it's an almost complete reinvention of the series with mechanics and capabilities that were absent the first time. Star Fox 1 may be a classic, but trust me when I say that your real mission is Star Fox 2. As for the other 20, well, believe me when I say that it's almost impossible not to spend a whole afternoon getting lost in 16-bit nostalgia. Especially with these beauties. Super Metroid is still the greatest 2D action-adventure game ever created, not to mention a speedrunner's dream come true. Super Mario World and Donkey Kong Country still rank up there as two of Nintendo's best platformers, and time has done nothing to reduce their addictive nature. I will always sit down to enjoy a healthy dose of Super Castlevania 4 or Contra 3, and let's not forget Mega Man X, still arguably one of the best in the series. And who can forget, or even pass, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, a game that's as legendary as it is difficult. Yoshi's Island is still as cute and adorable as it was back in the day, but cuteness aside, it throws a fun little curveball at the typical Mario gameplay. Kirby's two outings on the system are just as bright and warm, but are just a little too cute for my blood. But they are on the easy side, so go figure. Street Fighter and Super Punch-Out are great fun. I may famously suck at both of them, but that doesn't mean I can't try to have a good time. F-Zero was the game that showed what Mode 7 graphics were all about. It may be an eyesore by today's standards, but all in all, it's still a good racer. But it's still got nothing on Super Mario Kart. This game is just too much fun. Challenging tracks, two-player chaos, and awesome power-ups make this one a complete package. Now I know there's some of you out there who aren't looking for a quick action fix and yearn for a lengthy adventure that you can savor over a period of time. Well, Nintendo's got some options for you. A Link to the Past is still a masterpiece of action, adventure, and storytelling. Super Mario RPG is one game that I will always find time to play. It takes the best of what the RPG genre has to offer, adds a little bit of what makes the Mario series great, and ties it all together with a great story and a memorable soundtrack. Mystery Toys Earthbound is still as fun to play and interact with as it was in the year 1990X. It still has its undeniable charm, engaging battle system, and downright hilarious dialogue. It's no wonder people still play and worship the series to this very day. Yeah, I'm not kidding, they really do. Starman.net. Secret of Mana and Final Fantasy 3 or 6, if we're so concerned about that, are two examples of Square's golden era of RPGs, back when they were churning out masterpiece after masterpiece. Both games hold up remarkably well, and they'll definitely take you some time to beat. So I guess it comes down to a simple question. Who did they make this console for? And it's kind of a tough one. Maybe they did it for today's youngsters, the ones who weren't around to play these oldies when they weren't so old. Or maybe they did it for people like me, guys who love nostalgia and want to get back into the retro scene without destroying their wallets. And if that's the reason, then that was a pretty smart move from the big end. As some of these games, particularly Earthbound, Secret of Mana, and Mario RPG, aren't exactly cheap and will set you back a few $100. While I don't believe that the system is by any means a proper substitute for the original console, it's still a fun little machine to play around with. They're also stupid easy to find anywhere, and I do mean anywhere. So if you're a retro gamer looking to play some outdated games in HD, or a young one hungry to explore the classics of yesterday, then the SNES Classic is your system. Thanks for watching, happy gaming, and oh yeah, it's good to be back.